Tracking breaking news out of the NBA, where the Grizzlies have announced that Ja Morant will be away from the team for at least the next 2 games. This news comes after Morant flashed what appeared to be a gun on Instagram Live early Saturday morning. The NBA has also announced that it's opened an investigation into the incident. The Grizzlies star will miss a minimum of Sunday's game against the Clippers and Tuesday's game against the Lakers. For more, we welcome in CBS NBA insider Bill Reiter. Bill, interesting situation here, one that comes with some gravity because we're talking about a firearm and a star player. But it is important to clarify here off the top, this is a team-imposed punishment. Take us through what you know from the league side, how they could still levy discipline here on Morant.
Yeah, Joe, even before on his Instagram Live, Ja Morant flashed what we think might be a gun. There are obviously questions surrounding his behavior. An excellent report from the Washington Post. They found public documents finding that there were 2 different allegations previously not reported involving Ja Morant and physical altercations. That in those situations, the supposed victims, alleged victims, also alleged that there was a gun that was used to threaten them by Ja Morant. We know the story about Ja Morant or someone in his vehicle at a game earlier this season pointing a red laser at someone, and the concern by the folks on the receiving end, it might be a gun. So there's been a lot of concerns about Ja Morant, his judgment, his behavior, whether or not there are firearms that have been a part of some of these situations. So for him to do this has raised a lot of alarms in league circles and certainly with Memphis. I don't know what the league will conclude, Joe, but you can believe they're going to use this opportunity to look long and hard into what is going on with Ja Morant with this story we're talking about now and the stories I just mentioned. And there's a hope that whatever comes down, if there's a more suspension or not, this young man can correct his behavior because he's obviously very, very talented and very important to what Memphis does.
And that is the hope here, obviously, from the human side. Seems like almost shades of self-sabotage at moments here. You're talking about assault and weapons allegations surfacing last week, as you said, then Friday night, this video early Saturday morning on social media. In your reporting the last few years surrounding the Grizzlies in Memphis, was there ever any indication that Ja's character, decision-making might be an issue?
No, that's part of what's really, that's part of what's really interesting about this entire situation is normally you hear about whispers of concerns with certain players when they're coming out into the draft and they're going to be a high pick like Ja Morant was, number 2 overall pick in his draft, or just when they start to play really well. And to give you an example, not firearms, but Luka Doncic. There were concerns about Luka Doncic and whether he partied too much and would put on too much weight and wouldn't be able to play at a high level in the NBA. I'm told that's one of the reasons that some teams passed on him. He's obviously been fine. Those are much less important concerns. Nothing that I heard on Ja Morant. No concerns at that level. He's been in the league for a while now. And so this has been, as I understand it, to folks certainly in the media in Memphis who cover Ja all the time and like the guy, and to people in the league office, a surprise and certainly an unwelcome surprise.
It is all a matter of what's next here for Morant, for the Grizzlies, for the league. And I know we can't forecast what the league's going to do because this is in many ways unprecedented. You obviously think back to a Gilbert Arenas situation. That's a firearm on team property, so a little different wrinkle there. What are the next steps here from the league standpoint and from Memphis' side?
Yeah, I think from Memphis' perspective, it sounds like they've done what they need to do, and you'll notice in the very, very brief statement, they said a minimum of 2 games, right? So they've given themselves some latitude as the NBA's investigation unfurls to increase the time away, which is semantics. It's a suspension for Ja Morant from the team. The NBA is in an interesting spot because, the reason that we're all saying we think it's a gun in the live Instagram videos because I guess theoretically you could make a case in a court of law if you're making a case to an NBA investigator. It was a water gun or a prop or something else. And so what are the rules as it relates to people with weapons in their own homes? The other stories, the Washington Post article I cited, Joe, those are allegations. There's been no criminal action based on those allegations. The police, the prosecutor said there's no reason to move forward with any kind of charges. And so it's a gray and murky area. I think we're going to see Ja Morant miss a few games. I think this is the warning, and the hope is, but I don't think it's a guarantee because we just saw this video, the hope is he'll get the message that whatever is or isn't going on, the perception matters. You can't have weapons if that's what he's had. You've got to take more seriously if you're Ja Morant, this amazing talent and opportunity. And I think the big problem will come if his behavior doesn't change, if some of these allegations are based in facts that continue, and then the NBA in Memphis will have a really difficult choice to make.
And that massive contract kicking in next season for Ja Morant. Let's hope we can get things turned around here. Bill Reiter, we appreciate the details as always. Here is a look at the upcoming schedule. As we said, Memphis already levying some discipline on Ja Morant. He will be without against the Clippers and the Lakers. Memphis going to move forward without Morant for those two at least. We'll see what further discipline comes down here on the league side.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.